All right, what's going on, guys? We're back. Huddle Up podcast number 18. We had recorded one, and then the file was too big and whatever. So we'll probably hit on a couple points from that we didn't. You guys obviously didn't get to hear. I got Hayden with me as always. A little, mostly NFL, and then a little baseball as we kind of hit the postseason stretch. It's gonna be crazy, man. I feel like this World Series pretty open, pretty
Pretty
open.
unpredictable.
Yeah, I think anything. I mean, usually you kind of have. I mean, there's obviously like bigger favorites and whatnot, but it's pretty wide open. It feels like.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, man. Let's start with some football though. Let's start NFC. I feel like so easy to talk AFC, so we'll start NFC. Um, I think the biggest there's a couple. I mean, there's a couple talking points for sure, but I mean, everyone's talking about the Packers right now. They were my favorite to win the NFC North. Obviously, they didn't get out, so I don't have like proof of that or whatnot. But they've went from being like a big Super Bowl underdog, if you will. Like no one's a odds-on favorite, but they were plus 2,500 or something, and now they're like plus 600, right in the top contender conversation. So it's been kind of a crazy start for the Packers through 2 weeks. Obviously, they beat Detroit pretty soundly. And then who was week two for the Packers? Oh, the Commanders. That's right, the Thursday night game. They've handled business, man. I think Jordan Love looks good. Obviously, the defense is really what looks elite. I think that's been like putting Micah in on that defense has just caused chaos. And we talked about it on that episode too. Like, you bring in a pass rusher like that, it helps the secondary. Even I'll admit, like, I didn't see it happening like that. I didn't think they were going to be a top three defense, and that's like somehow what they've become. Again, through 2 weeks, we can overreact, but yeah, you have anything there at all with the pack?
Uh, I just want to see him do it for the length of the season.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're an interesting team to me just because when we saw them fizzle out last year against the Eagles and Love looked bad specifically, I think the defense held basically as much as they can because I think there was like a fumble on a kickoff like early in the game maybe or at a critical point, and that kind of swung the game open in the Eagles' favor. Um, I just want to see them do it consistently, but I mean, I don't know if they're going to lose a game, honestly, this regular season with the way that the schedule aligns since they got a third place schedule, which is, I mean, they should be just breaking it down into 1 through 7 top records. I don't think that it should be based on division winner. I get the division winner thing, but
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it necessarily with the scheduling just because of like the first, second, third, fourth place, all the details and whatnot. But the fact that the Packers have a third place schedule is pretty hilarious. Um,
Yeah. No, I mean for
and
sure. Well, that division last year, I mean, it was like the Packers were good. Obviously, got a wild card spot, but the Vikings had what 14 wins, and the Lions
yeah,
or 13 or
and that was
14.
nuts.
I
I
mean,
don't know how many times it's going to happen, but
it,
it's crazy because they're just going to keep beating up on these teams. Like they're getting all the other third place teams that they're playing this season, or yeah, this season.
yeah,
So I don't know. I wouldn't say they're necessarily the biggest surprise, but it's definitely eye popping to see how they've just. I mean, the Commanders. I'm not super high on this year, but they manhandled the Lions, and I guess we'll see the Lions and Packers play once more. So I'm curious to see how that game goes because those are easily the two best teams in the NFC North.
for sure. Yeah, I think I mean, that was kind of one of the tougher divisions to predict. Um, I mean, the Vikings clearly have just they obviously that week one comeback was pretty surprising, but again, this is more of a TV take. I won't take credit for this one, but you've had 7 quarters of bad JJ McCarthy. Like, yes, they got the week one win, but 3 quarters of that were awful. Um, and now they're going to Wentz, which in a weird way, I just wonder if Wentz will actually be a little better. Not, it says more about McCarthy that I make that take, not Wentz. I mean, I think Wentz has been somewhat formidable, so we'll
Yeah,
see.
I think he's a solid option as a backup.
Yeah, I would agree. Um, let's we'll make it quick. I mean, there's a lot we could hit on, so we'll see if there's something we really want to go into. But the NFC East has been kind of what we thought, although maybe the Eagles are not invincible this year, or is it too early to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just curious because I've seen a lot of Eagles fans complaining about the play calling. And it does seem like they're just keeping everything in front of them, at least offensively. It doesn't seem like they're calling many bombs. I know they had the one to Devontae last week, but I don't know if that's by choice or just what they think is going to work. But I'm curious to see how it.
Yep, it's gonna be a fun game.
But I mean, obviously the Eagles are going to win their division and they're going to be there. They're going to make it at least the divisional round, if not the conference championship. That's the floor for them.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to see how their secondary holds up because I think they have Adoree Jackson playing as the number 2, which is kind of crazy to me that they don't have an option better than that. I know they traded for Jacorian Bennett from the Raiders before the season, but it looks like he's been probably worse than Adoree this year. Um, I'm curious how that's going to unfold. But yeah, I guess we'll see. They didn't look too hot against the Cowboys, and granted that's week 1, so obviously there's a lot of slack that needs to be cut there. But even against the Chiefs, when the Chiefs were playing pretty poorly, they only squeaked out a win. But yeah, going to be interesting to see.
I think the biggest. I'm not really worried about like I have my. We've talked about Jalen Hurts a lot. There's obviously a lot of questions there, but I'm not really worried about their offense. Like Jalen Hurts may not be a top 10 quarterback in our eyes, but he's not a bottom 5 either. Like they'll
Yeah,
figure it out, and I think they'll get that going. But I do definitely worry about the defense. I mean, it hasn't looked like awful, I guess, but then at the same time you look at how they looked in the first half of that Dallas game, just couldn't guard anything. The secondary looked really, really rough. Um, Alongside that as well, like the Chiefs, I mean, the Chiefs have like no offense, and they didn't necessarily get what they want, but I don't know. The Chiefs had chances in that game. The Kelsey drop was obviously huge. That changed everything. Um, but there's definitely question marks on the Philly defense, especially in the secondary. I don't really worry about the front 7, but it feels like if it's a pass happy team, for example, Dallas, like there's a lot of vulnerability there in that secondary. So that's a concern for me when they hit playoff time. I mean, I don't worry about them winning the division either, like you said, but like this Sunday, Rams Eagles, I worry about the Rams. I mean, we'll get into our week 3 preview, in more detail, but I would worry about that Eagles secondary against the Rams, skill guys for sure. Like you have to. They're not guarding. The front 7 could get home, but they're not going to be able to guard Puka and Tay straight up. Like there's just no way. If they let the Cowboys get what they want, then I would expect the same there for the Rams. So
yeah. I will say, yeah. I mean, I'll save it for the preview of the game.
let's see. Or what do you got? What do you got?
I mean, outside of that, I don't think there's anything surprising necessarily in the NFC. I'm looking through the records right now. The Falcons' defense looks good, but that also just could be because they play J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, I think it
I,
might be.
The Vikings are kind of at a weird point right now. I don't really have much to say there. Buccaneers have basically stolen 2 wins in the last
Yeah.
minute combined of each game, so I still think they're going to win the division. Am I super scared of the Buccaneers? Probably not, but they also don't have Chris Godwin yet. I know they lost Kancey for the season after the Texans game, so that's kind of a sizable loss for them. And then NFC West teams, Niners, the defense looks good. Obviously, Brock and Kittle and Ayuk are out, so haven't seen them at full strength, but not terribly surprised. I mean, squeaked one out against the Seahawks and then beat the Saints, which that's what you got to do. Cardinals kind of
Can we
looked.
talk about something with the Niners really quick?
Yeah, I mean,
Brock
I'm not.
Purdy. Brock Purdy. Look at Mac Jones and what he did on Sunday.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the Saints versus the Seahawks. I'm not. I,
Well, I know, but I guess my point is like, people. It's more about the Brock Purdy like take essentially. Like Mac Jones is able to run the offense pretty effectively. That's the only I know it was against the Saints. I get it, but like, still.
Even
But
as a Niners like hater, I still think Brock Purdy's a top 12 quarterback. Like I think he masks a lot of the problems they have, and I don't think any of the problems came up during the Saints game, which would be
yeah,
the shitty O line. Like that O line is going to be Swiss cheese once they play the Rams in Week 5.
for
Um,
sure.
and I'm hoping Brock Purdy's
Yeah.
back for that game so we can see them against like a solid NFC team. But I mean, I'm not worried about him. I do think that he masks problems that they have, i.e., that terrible O line group, as well as a pretty poor receiving group. Because I mean, I don't think Pearsall is very good, and he was thrown to is his name like Josh Tongus or I can't even I don't know who he is, but he's the backup tight end, and Purdy was slinging it to him.
Yeah.
Um, I'm more curious about how the Seahawks season is going to play out because they did lose to the Niners and then they beat the Steelers pretty well. I think that might be more of an indictment on how bad the Steelers are because I mean they just got torched. J.J. Watt looks terrible. Jalen Ramsey looks terrible.
TJ. Sorry for the
Oh,
we're
it's my
just
bad.
right, sorry, I'm sorry.
Holy moly, Freudian slip. Yeah, T.J. Watt looks terrible outside of his run defense. Jalen
Yeah.
Ramsey looks terrible in pass coverage.
His
I know they got
advanced
some
stats
guys.
are like really rough. Jalen Ramsey. Like he's
Yeah,
been one of the worst corners in
yeah. I mean, they gave up, what, 34, 31 to the Jets, and then they gave up 34 to the Seahawks. Like, I mean, those are maybe the Seahawks are a decent offense, but the Jets aren't, and the Steelers just got blown by them. Um, I think this is Tomlin's last year for sure.
Oh, you think they'd just straight up fire him, or do you think he'd be done? You know what
One
I
of the
mean?
two. I mean,
One
I
or
would
two.
be done with this sorry ass team. I think the Steelers are sorry as hell. I mean they. I mean we can talk about it all day long, but they do the same thing. They expect different results. It's the definition of insanity. Like they're not a good team. Um, I don't even think they're going to sneak into the playoff this year. I genuinely don't see it happening this year
Yeah.
specifically. Just with the way the Chargers are playing, the Broncos are going to pick it up. Um, the Raiders have the same record as them. The Colts are right there. Jaguars look eh. I'm not expecting I just
Yeah, I don't
I,
yeah.
I don't think there's enough spots for the Steelers, and with the way the defense looks, it doesn't look good.
Yeah, I think it's really tough when you bring Rodgers in and the expectation is like, yeah, we're gonna be better, but like the defense is gonna do the bulk of the work. And then the defense doesn't do the bulk of the work, it definitely makes it difficult both sides, right? Like, um, I mean, obviously, good defense always helps, but you expect like a Bills or a Ravens, you're like, oh, defense is great, but like we're gonna score. But here it's like we need defense and then Rodgers to score like 20, and like neither game that's been the recipe for success against the Jets and the Seahawks. Like
Yeah,
that's concerning.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I feel bad for Steelers fans at this point because it's just meddling around in no man's land, and they're
You would
gonna.
rather like I always push back on the like you'd rather take, but at the same time when you've actually been like we rarely see this in the NFL because there's so much parity, but like the Steelers have been literally mid, like the definition of average for what, 15 years essentially.
Yeah,
Like a little less. Like
maybe
they
like
haven't seen,
10
but like
years
10 years. Yeah, like
since the
they've been
Killer Bees.
nonstop. Yeah, like they had the one weird like 11-0 start that one year in like 2016. You remember that? But like they were not a good team then either. Really, like they got exposed after.
Yeah, they've had a couple. I think they were 11-0 the year the Rams won the Super Bowl because then they fizzled out. It was around that time, so around like 22 or COVID, something like that. One of those years they were doing the same thing. I don't know. They're going to end up drafting a quarterback with their top. They're going to have like the 17th pick, and they're going to end up drafting a quarterback that shouldn't be drafted
Arch
there.
Manning.
They're going to end up drafting Klubnik or some shit, and they're going to be doomed for another 5 years after. So, I don't know. I will say, I guess, transitioning over into the AFC surprise teams.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Well,
the obvious one.
wait. Is there anything else to hit on? I think we're good with NFC. I want to make sure. East, West. Yeah, no, I think we're good. All right.
Yeah.
Unless you want
And
to talk more Rams, but
no, I mean, they look
I feel like
good.
there's not a ton to talk about.
I mean, they
Like,
look solid. Offensive line is kind of a concern of mine because guys are getting hurt already. I'm prepared to not pay Steve Avila because he's been banged up now 2 years in a row, and hopefully he has a good rest of the year. But missing the Eagles game is pretty unfortunate, and that's going to be a big thing. But I mean, Devontae looks good. I figured he was going to be good. Devontae is probably one of the better receivers against man. Puka is one of the best against zone, and each of them can also do the opposite. So Puka can go up against man. Like, they have a pretty complete team, I'd say. They lost Witherspoon for basically the entire regular season, which is pretty bad. And I do want them to go make a trade for Denzel Ward. I just don't know if the team is at that point where they're ready to commit. I know they signed some guy from the Seahawks, but he's terrible. Just like god awful. But I don't know. We'll see if the secondary can hold up. See if the run defense can actually prove to be pretty solid. My hot take for this season is that Nate Landman on the Rams, the linebacker they got from the Falcons, is going to have like a Zach Bond type of year where he's highly productive because of a really good defensive line in front of him. I think he's going to be. I mean, he's already been pretty productive. Week 1 got the fumble to win the game. Last week he was there to get a fumble recovery that flipped the momentum of the game, and the Rams were able to blow out the Titans after. I want to see the defense maybe do a little more because Pollard was getting some solid 4 to 5 yard runs against them, and if they're doing that, I don't know what Saquon's going to do on Sunday. So I just hope if the run defense can keep Saquon underneath 100 yards rushing, keep him around 4 yards a carry, that would be the dream. Yeah, I don't know what I'm working.
Defenses have had a fine time doing that so far. Like against
What's
Saquon.
up?
Saquon hasn't really been able to do much against
Yeah.
Cowboys or all because of Kenny Clark, but
Yeah, I'm the Rams paid Puna and Landman to do exactly what they're going to try and do tomorrow, which is stop the run. Um, I would just like to see the Rams sell out on the run and say, like, all right, if Jalen Hurts beats you with his arm, so be it. Like, they got a top 3 wide receiver duo. Like, the Rams have probably a bottom 10 cornerback room. So, like,
yeah.
If they beat him by the air, so be it. But I've seen a lot of Philly fans online talking shit because the Rams are posting about the game as if the Eagles aren't doing the same. I think the Eagles fans don't realize how much different as a Rams fan this team looks from last year because it was basically spam Puka, run the ball with Kyron, and then there's a third option out there. Now Devontae and Puka are 1-1. It's not even 1A, 1B CeeDee Lamb pick and style. Like there's 2 true wide receiver ones. And if I was an opposing team, I'd be pretty scared of that. And Stafford has looked impeccable outside of one bad turnover. Um, and I'm sure they're going to be pissed off for tomorrow. I, yeah,
I
so
do wonder, like, the thing I'm curious about is the tush push tomorrow. Like, obviously, that's been a big point this week of like, I don't know how I didn't like see this earlier or what happened, but like Tom Brady talked about it, and then it went viral that like they're just offsides. Like the O line is lining up offsides consistently. You've also had defensive players line offside on the tush push. Like it's just a messy play, but I'm curious to see how they officiate that tomorrow because
yeah,
like it's a mess. Like I wasn't necessarily for banning the tush push, but like at this point it's just that Chiefs game they ran it like 7 times and it's just so ugly. It's just I don't know.
yeah. I mean, if they officiate it correctly, then so be it, right? If you die by the sword, but I just think I I don't see why they couldn't just ban it, and then the Eagles couldn't still run a QB sneak. Like it'd be pushing the guy in. Like I feel like it'd be a pretty similar situation. Like they have the guys necessary to do it, the offensive line, and then obviously the quarterback slash supporting cast to push him. I
Yeah.
it is it is pretty dumb. I mean, I don't think the Chiefs were necessarily going to win last week had it not been for the tush push, but yeah, I think that the leniency that Philly is getting is going to be interesting. I think they'll ref it pretty hard tomorrow, which will be
Yeah.
good because it's like the first week after the controversy, so all the eyes are going to be on it.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I mean, the Rams stopped it last year. I think in the divisional game, I vaguely remember them. I think they stopped them not on fourth down, but it was a pretty critical down that they had stopped them on. Um, so I'm curious to see,
The
but
playoff game or the other one?
no, I mean the regular season game, Philly just spanked them bad. But the playoff game, there was one. I think that they false started. I think Lane Johnson false started, and they still stopped the tush push or something like that. I don't. It was in the third quarter maybe. After the Kyron fumble, I want to say. Um, but yeah, no, going to be interesting to see. It's hopefully going to be a good game tomorrow.
I think it will be. It'll be fun to watch.
3.5 point spread though.
Give me the Rams. Although I'm a little hesitant, but I think I'll take the Rams. I believe in McVay. Let McVay cook. Let's go to the AFC. We'll just get this out of the way real quick. Texans are 0-2. We were 0-2 last year. We had obviously the game we were at together. Fun game, but at the same time, Texans literally fumbled the game at the 15-yard line, and our defense could not get a stop when it mattered. Right after we took the lead against Tampa, so yeah, man. This Jaguars game tomorrow is the season. Like, there's no other way around it. If they're 0-3 and the Colts beat the Titans like they probably will, I think it's too much of a gap to overcome. But I'm confident. I think people are a little too low on the Texans right now. I had my like post game, kind of clarity, thought about it, thought about what I've seen, and they've gone up against two arguably like NFC Super Bowl contenders. Again, that's arguably. Obviously, it's not like Philly or something, but two potential division winners, two playoff teams, and the AFC South is weak, and we know Jacksonville is pretty vulnerable. So I feel good into tomorrow. I think they're going to make a statement game. I think the offense is not going to be perfect, but look a lot better, and I think the defense has given up like 13 points, like not much at all. So the defenses still look good for the record. I mean, it shut
Yeah,
down the Rams fairly well, which is, as we both know, a very legitimate offense. They slowed down Tampa very well, aside from the last drive. So I think the door is wide open for Houston to get their season back on track. I'm not super worried. We definitely are not a Super Bowl contender, but I didn't think we were going into the year anyway. So Yeah, man. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but I think Houston has a chance to get back. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm still in on them. I think the Colts' insanity run is going to be over pretty soon once the wall hits for Daniel Jones. Um, yeah, I'm not worried about them. I know that you're not like a big Tunsil guy, like, and I can understand why, but I still think that they would have been better off keeping him this year. I just like we can overthink everything as much as we want, but like if you take like for example like the Rams position group with Aaron Donald and like obviously Laramie Tunsil's not Aaron Donald, but
yeah, yeah,
if you take the group that they had in 2023, it was like Kobe Turner, Michael Hoyt, Byron Young, Aaron Donald. If you take away Aaron Donald from that group and you were to roll it over, like I obviously Kobe Turner and Byron Young took a lot from what Aaron Donald had to say, but it wouldn't be nearly the group it was in 2023 without Aaron Donald. I think the Texans like overthought it too much, and like I know Tunsil average was like a penalty a game, but like
yeah.
I would still take that penalty a game over the performances that they put up because it's not even like Stroud's getting killed. It's just Stroud doesn't have enough time to see the field and actually like process it necessarily. I mean, I know you have a bunch of opinions on it, but like you got to give him time to at least see the field. I just it was bewildering to me at the time that they made the move. It's still bewildering to me today during week 3. Like maybe the line figures it out, and I do like the guy that they have. He's got like the really funny name.
Ursay?
Uh, yeah, I think he's going to be a solid left tackle in the league. I just I don't know if it's happening by tomorrow, and so
Yeah,
I would have liked to just see them keep Tunsil because I think that that could have supplemented them a lot. I know Mixon being out is a pretty big thing because he was stellar for them last year, and
yeah.
obviously
I think
Dell is out. Like,
no Mixon really hurts. I think.
yeah,
I think I have to like take back my take on the Tunsil trade. Like I think at this point, unless we see more, like that trade hurts our O line more than I thought. I will say though, I think we I might have overlooked that like these rookie wideouts are not, you know, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas. Like it's gonna take some time with these guys. Like Nico wasn't outstanding right away either. Um, so I think it's tough. I think it's a mix of the O line, but I also think, I mean, Nick Chubb is the number one running back. He looks a little slower to me than he did, which makes sense. I didn't expect to get vintage Nick Chubb or anything,
yeah,
but he's not a good running back. So you're working with a pretty bad running back room when Mixon's out, and then when you have Tank Dell out and Christian Kirk out and Barrios, whatever his impact would have been, like he's out as well. Um, the combination of all of that, it's just ugly. It's just really ugly. So, and I think Stroud needs to be do better also. I think he's had a couple weak spots so far. So, um, I don't really know what to make of it. I still think the playoff potential is there, but we got to see. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they made a trade deadline move either, because I think they understand that like they have the defense down. You've got Stroud on the rookie deal still. Like, it's time to. Not that I'm expecting them to make a move that would put them in the Super Bowl window, but like, you might as well make a move. I think. I definitely think so for like another wide receiver or something, because it can't just be Nico. And Nico's not played perfect either. So we'll see, though. We'll see. Um, Other things in the AFC, KC is also 0-2. That's obviously a big story. And the Chargers are 2-0, Broncos 1-1, Raiders 1-1. So they're last in the division. I mean,
yeah. As as much as I want to talk about it, at the same time, they're gonna make the playoffs. Like
yeah,
we can cut the theatrics in between now and January. I'm still not. I still don't want to play them if I was an AFC team or an NFC team. And especially with the 0-2 start, I feel like people are starting to be like, oh, the Chiefs are out of it. And we're going to look back at this by the beginning of December and be like, shit, they were one more loss away from really being out of the race. But I wholeheartedly think they're going to come out and punch the Giants in the mouth this Sunday night. Or this Sunday night or Monday? Yeah, Sunday night. Which that's a terrible Sunday night game. I don't know how that's even allowed. That should be illegal. But um, I will stand by this take for the rest of the season. Everyone is like, "Oh my God, the Chargers look impeccable. Like this is their year." Shut the hell up. I'm so tired of it, dude. Because one, last week they handled the Raiders. Cool.
Yeah.
Then again, I think that I maybe overrated the Raiders a smidge because they just don't look that good. Gino looked terrible. It wasn't like it was the Chargers necessarily beating the Raiders. I think the Raiders beat themselves in some aspects, specifically Gino playing like Jets Gino and not Seahawks Gino. And they just couldn't get Genty started. He had some good runs and he was breaking tackles, but they're really focusing in on him. Brock Bowers was kind of banged up. They don't seem to use Jacoby Myers as much.
Yeah. And for the record, I think we both overrated them a little bit. I think that's a very very valid.
Yeah.
You're not crazy for that. Like that Sunday or that Monday night game, the Raiders. I mean, Gino was rough,
Horrible.
horrible. Like you could box score that and be like, "Wow, it was awful," and then you watch it and you're like, "Yeah, that was even worse than what the."
See, yeah.
Like that's very rare. That's very
Yeah.
rare to do that.
No, yeah. I do feel like that's one of the teams that I think you and I were high on. And, they still can have a decent year, but, I mean, when you boil it down, I guess the defense is pretty suspicious outside of Crosby. I know they got a guy from the Eagles that a lot of Raiders fans do like. I don't.
That corner?
Maybe no. I think it's a D lineman that they got. I want to say from the Jacorian Bennett trade. I'm either mixing up the Raiders and the Texans or another trade because I think the Raiders got somebody from the Eagles and they were saying that he wasn't half bad, like an interior D lineman. But to stamp my take even harder, huh?
Wait. Oh. I see. The Eagles got the corner, Jacorian Bennett. They got Thomas Booker, the fourth.
And he's a defensive lineman.
Yeah, D tackle. Yeah.
I think that they said he's been okay, but he's not obviously enough to save this defense from itself. But yeah, I think the more interesting team. I mean, the Raiders are probably not going to make the playoffs. The more interesting team to me is the Broncos. They look terrible against the Titans, just flat out. You can boil it down to one player. Team sport. I don't think it's really like that. But last week against the Colts, what a freaking meltdown!
Yeah.
I don't know how the game was even that close to begin with. You can go off about Indianapolis all you want. They beat the shit out of Miami, but it's Miami for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
But they beat the Broncos last week. Granted, if it wasn't for one penalty, they don't. But I'm looking at the record right now, and the Broncos are 1-1. So they lost last week, and
yeah,
I'm just curious if it's maybe this. The defense had a solid showing the first week, and then last week it's I don't know.
Yeah, I think the defense. Now, I'm not going to be unfair here. Bo had a bad game week 1, so I'm not avoiding that necessarily. But I don't think Bo was the problem in the Colts game. I don't think he played like a plus game or anything. But the defense giving up that many points was pretty alarming to a Daniel Jones offense.
And especially, Jonathan Taylor just had his way.
Yeah,
I think he averaged almost 7 yards a rush. Can't do that. Especially for a defense that's paid. I think the majority of their money is invested in their defense outside of the offensive line and Sutton. Like, I mean, they're paying this defense some bread.
Yeah. Oh, it's a very. I mean, they made free agency moves. They've spent draft picks, paid Sertan. Like, yeah, there's a lot. Go. That defense has to be better. Has to be
Yeah.
better. Um, yeah. I mean, let me. I'm just curious now since we're talking about it. Yeah. So Bo Nix last week. Yeah. I mean, they gave up 29 points. The Colts had 473 yards of offense. It's insane. And yeah, Bo didn't have a perfect game, but 22 for 30, 206 yards, three tutties, one pick. You know, it's formidable. That'll work.
Pretty solid
Um,
game.
but yeah, that defense. I mean, Daniel Jones throws for 316 on your defense. That ain't a good look. So
That's quite awful.
yeah, I'm a little worried about the Broncos. I think Bo's gonna figure it out, but the defense, like I think they can figure it out, but I don't know. I don't know. They must have been sleeping into that Colts game. We'll talk week three. Again, we're trying to shorten these episodes, so we'll talk week three so we can get into some MLB before we get out of here. So, um, I think you want to hear my kind of hot take on the week three schedule.
I'm down.
Um,
Let's hear it.
I mean, we're in the same survivor pool, so this could change, your picks here. But I kind of think the Browns are going to keep it really close with Green Bay. I think that defense is very, very formidable. Obviously, they really slowed down Lamar. Like, they had no gas in the tank until Flacco was turning it over. So I kind of think they can fight a little bit. Um, I don't know if Cleveland's necessarily going to win. Like, I'm not like calling that much of a hot take, but I definitely think they're going to cover that 7.5, and I think they're going to. I mean, it's at home. Packers might be a little, overvalued just slightly. Um, is that a terrible take? Just to fight.
I definitely think it's. I mean, the spread's 7.5. I'm looking at right
Yeah.
now. I could see it being a close game just because that defense of the Browns is still solid, and they still got some guys on offense with Fannin, Judy. I think Sampson's been getting some looks. Judkins. Um, I still think the Packers are going to win because at the end of the day, I
Yeah.
don't know if the Browns are going to score um,
Yeah. That's
against
very
that
fair.
Packers defense, but I think they could look Jordan Love look like he did in the Eagles game pretty quickly. But I still take the Packers to win. The spread, I'm not sure about it. I think it could be like a walk-off field goal situation, but I could also see the Packers winning like 24-7 or 3.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's definitely a fair take. I mean, the blowout potential is there. I just think it's a weird, like, everyone's talking about the Packers, like, um, they might be just a little bit overvalued right now. Maybe not. Um, and then, I mean, yeah, y'all's game is really big too. Eagles, Rams, man. If the Rams D line shows up, I think they have a good shot to win outright. I mean, we haven't really seen the Eagles look good yet. Like, again, they're 2-0, so like, how much can you really talk bad on them? But hasn't quite been what we're used to. Doesn't feel like the same, you know, team and arsenal like the champs had last year. So
yeah, I think it's going to come down to whether or not McVay is going to go all out in the game plan against Fangio. I mean, I don't think he's beat. I don't know. I don't think he's beat Fangio in his NFL career at any point wherever Fangio's been, whether it's the Eagles or whether it was with the Bears. Maybe 5 seasons, six, 7, 8, 6, 7. Yeah, I don't think he's beat Fangio, and so I'm curious if that's just his kryptonite. Whatever Fangio is putting out there, McVay can't figure out. I do think that this team is better than it was last year, and I think the Eagles team is slightly worse than it was last year. I think losing the guys they did on defense is pretty important. And is there offensive line? They lost Becton, right? They have a new
Yeah,
guard.
yeah.
Um,
I'll
I don't think the
look
O
at
line
the
is. I don't think the O line is as untouchable as it's made out to seem. I still think it's the best in the league. But I mean, the Cowboys were getting home, or not home, but they were getting pressure on Hurts week one, and so if the Rams can get pressure, pretty excited about it. But
Wait,
the Rams O
why
line
why do
also
we
need.
both? Becton's on the Chargers now.
Yeah,
Talking about.
as long as the Rams O line holds up, because they do have a backup playing this week. So long
Yeah.
as they can hold up, I think that they have a good shot. Um, if they win realistically, I don't know which, I think it gives them a lot of confidence to beat the team that knocked them out last year because I feel like they feel pretty. They feel like it was a pretty close game, and I'm sure the Eagles feel a different way about it. But I mean, if you beat Philly and you can kind of catch a run, I mean, the playoffs can go through Los Angeles. So I think it's an important game in that aspect because it is a tiebreaker for the NFC.
Yep.
The Rams have a first place schedule, so getting all the wins they can definitely doesn't hurt. So yeah, it'd be a
The
good
Rams
game.
are gonna want that one. They're gonna be. I think that'll be like. You never want to say like. I mean, it's like coach talk, but it's like, oh, you want to give the same effort every game, which like is true. But I bet Rams will ramp it up just a tad for this one compared to the Titans game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They'll be out to win that one. I would think.
yeah. I, I just hope. I mean, they got to tackle when they make first contact. That was a big thing last year, and they just hold. They got to hold their spots on the D line when
Yeah.
Saquon's coming at them. Because PFF people have different opinions on it, but I mean they've been rated as one of the best tackling teams in the league so far through 2 weeks, and so I don't. You can say it's a fluke. I guess we'll find out this week, but they got to wrap up. Once you hit Saquon, you got to bring him down. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like you gotta make the tackles that you're paid to make. So
Yeah.
I gotta see it to believe it. I don't think McVay's beat the Eagles. I think he's beat them once in his career, and he's played them. I want to say 5 times or 6 times.
Yeah.
So I want to see them beat Philly. It seems to be one of the teams they can't beat.
I mean, it's the only team they've. I'm sure you probably heard the stat too, but I guess it's the only team they've lost to since like week 10 or something last year. Because they lost to them in the regular season, they lost to them in the NFC Championship. But other than that, Rams have won like every game for like 15 games or something like that. It's something crazy.
No, I think the statistic is.
Like if I go back, the last Rams loss
I mean,
is
they lost after the Philly game. I'm pretty sure, or maybe they did. Oh, they lost to the Seahawks the
oh,
last
they
week of the
lost to the
week.
Seahawks. I guess starters didn't play. I think that factored in. So I guess
Yeah,
if you take out that game, the last game they lost was November of last year to the Dolphins.
God, I remember that game.
Dude, that game was freaking brutal.
Fucking terrible. I mean, I think Philly's been undefeated outside of the Commanders game last week or last year when Hurts went out. I think they've been undefeated essentially from that point.
Yeah.
Um, I think these are a lot. I think these two teams, along with the Packers and Lions, are the four favorites to come out of the division. I, if I could, I'd put money on those four being one of the teams to come out. I just don't see it being literally anybody else.
Yeah.
Um, so, and this is gonna be a good game. I just hope that the Rams show up and they got to lock in harder than they did last year. Kyron's got to hold on to the ball. I bet we'll see a lot of Corum tomorrow. That's my thing to look out for. I think he looked good against the Titans. He looked really good. I actually ran into his parents at the game. Um, just that was pretty cool. Saw them there. But yeah, I think Corum will have 35-40% of the running back touches. I want to say he's not as good in pass pro as Kyron, but if he can run, I mean, he's averaging nine yards a run last week. So I
It's
want to see
interesting
them.
they just signed Kyron to that extension, and I feel like he's been really quiet.
Yeah, I mean, the Texans game, I'll give it. I mean, it is what it is. It's week one, and then on top of that, they had two guards who were hurt, and it's the Texans defense, like it's top three. But the
Yeah.
Titans game last week was a little interesting. I know they were down a guard still, but that doesn't excuse that. I just think that he's a little too slow to make a jump and to actually pop through the hole. And Corum just does exactly the opposite. He picks the hole and he blows through it. So I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll see.
Um, well, let's unless there's anything else with NFL, let's hit on some MLB real quick as we get into the postseason. Do you have a who's your World Series like pick right now aside from the bias? I mean, let's if you could pick Dodgers biased and unbiased, obviously, but um, who do you like to make a run? Is there a sleeper that you're kind of seeing?
It was gonna be the Mets before their big slide. They been weird. I mean, I think the sleeper pick. I think if the Padres can get into some favorable positions, meaning that if they get King and Pavetta to start and they can close out, assuming they don't win their division, and they play like let's say they play the Mets, um, in the first series and they line up King and Pavetta. I
Yeah.
think if those guys can get into the fifth or sixth inning with 1 or 2 run ball, um, the bullpen is nails, so I think that they would win those games. I think they have the offense to do so. I feel like their odds are pretty low in comparison to some teams. I saw the Mariners had the best odds to win the World Series. That's insane to me. I feel like
Yeah,
that's a little bit of an
I mean,
overreaction.
we talked about on text the other day, like they had that crazy, which was probably inflated by who they played, but still, I mean, they rattled off 10 games in a row. Like they're the hottest team in baseball. They beat us last night, of course. So unfortunate. Wu versus Hunter Brown did not go our way. So
I mean,
um,
Wu probably could have went all 9 if he didn't get banged up. I'm curious what that's going to look like because I mean, if Wu's banged up and Kirby and Castillo are having kind of off years and Gilbert's kind of treading around. I mean, he's been good the last few starts, but I'm just not super high on them. I don't know if they've done it before, and I mean, I know they haven't done it before in the postseason, but I don't know if this is going to be the team to break the curse for them, figuratively speaking. I just think that I don't know. I just think they're a little overrated in the grand scheme of things. Like if they were to match up with the Yankees, and I'm a Yankees hater, but I honestly think the Yankees would probably beat them in a series of 5. I think that goes 4, and the Yankees take it. So I
yeah,
uh, I don't know. I mean, you could say the Guardians are kind of a sleeper team because they're hanging around there. I'm not sold on them. I think their starting pitching is pretty bad. I actually don't even know how they're 12 games above 500. That's pretty remarkable to me. I think if the Rangers get in, that'll be interesting.
yeah. Ranger. I mean, the Rangers definitely have like. I mean, Degrom is semi back, I guess. They've got some potential there. I don't hate that take. Um, I mean, right now the odds are Phillies, Dodgers, Mariners, Brewers, top four. I can't figure out the Brewers. Like, I know that they've had a really good regular season, but like, are they legit?
Yeah, I
Are
don't
they?
know. I mean, I just think that their bats are going to disappear in the postseason. I mean, I think they took the series last year against the Mets to 3 games. So if they had won, they would have advanced. Like, I mean, they're always in the playoff contention. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of if they're going to show up. I mean, they have the best pitching staff in baseball, from starters to relief pitchers, I would say. Um, I just, I think if they play the Dodgers in the postseason, with the way that the Dodgers frontline starters are pitching. I mean, Snell looks unhittable. Yamamoto looks unhittable. Um, Glass now has actually been statistically a little bit better than Yamamoto recently, and then you still have Kershaw, and I didn't even name the GOAT. So
Yep.
it's a pretty scary situation. I mean, I think the Dodgers will make it far. Whether or not they're going to win it is a whole nother ball game. But I mean, no one's sleeping on the Dodgers, right? Everyone
No,
knows.
of course not. Yeah.
But I do think the teams are.
It's. I mean, you're good. Yeah. I mean, the Blue Jays are in there, Yankees in, but yeah. I mean, I think if the Astros don't fold, I think they're definitely still in there. But the Jordan injury really hurts. I think
Do they say
that
when
makes
he's
me
supposed to come
blink a
back,
little.
or is he projected to come back at some point?
I don't think so. I mean, I think there's just uncertainty. Like if they make it deep, then maybe, but he won't be back for a couple weeks for sure, which is so unfortunate. But um, I mean, I think if I had to pick like a sleeper, it would probably be. Do we know what's going on with Tariq's injury?
No, I mean they said he's back, but I mean, dude, they've kind of looked bad. That was the one concern I had with them, dude. They don't have serious bats.
Yeah.
Like they've kind of been riding away from last year of like I mean they made a great postseason push last year and they beat the Astros and they lost to the Guardians. Yeah, they lost to the Guardians last year. Sorry,
No, you're
I
good.
totally interrupted you. I'm not sold on their bats. I think it's a lot of like tag team production and it's kind of fizzled out the last month or so.
Yeah, that I mean that I think that's been the concern because we feel like I mean obviously they have arguably the best pitcher in baseball. The bats are kind of formidable, but yeah, there's a lack of consistency, big time, big time. I think the Cubs don't really have a chance. I know it's a little harsh, but I just think they're like the fun team, like they're the high powered offense, arguably, but like not really ish. I don't know. The Cubs feel weird to me. Um, I always like the Padres. I'm surprised, like on the odds that they're that low. Like I know they kind of started the season slow, but I feel like that's baseball a little bit too. A lot of teams do that.
Holy Juan Soto's a fat ass dude.
I agree.
Sorry. I he made oh my god. Yeah,
All right, well
I'm
that'll wrap it up. I'm just kidding.
this is a terrible performance from there's no way that was an earned run. Dude, Soto completely misplayed a ball in the outfield. How is that not an error? Yeah, that's terrible. I know who's not winning the World Series. It's this bum ass Mets team that's costing me this fantasy championship right now.
you're in the championship right now.
I'm playing Taylor right now. I'm up 70 points. He's got
Wow.
5 pitchers tomorrow. He's got 6 tomorrow. I got 5. I
Is
got a
it
guy
two
going
weeks
right
long?
now.
Do you go
Huh?
through the end of the regular season or no? Like, is it end tomorrow or do you have another week?
No.
Okay.
Tomorrow's the
Final day.
final illustration of the story.
Crazy.
But he's got he's got Fromber and Bieber tonight, and then he's got 6 guys. He's got 5 guys tomorrow. 6 guys tomorrow.
Wow.
5 guys
It's gonna be a
tomorrow.
battle.
I have 5 guys tomorrow too. So I brought the
Wow.
ammo.
I guess you guys just picked up everybody. No one else is playing.
But yeah, I know the Mets aren't going to be in the playoffs or they're not going to be doing much this postseason because yeah, that pitching staff is absolutely horrible right now. I'm getting extremely pissed off.
Um. Well, I think unless you, is there anything else you want to hit on? I mean, I think we covered everything pretty well. I mean, I wish I had more baseball takes. I've just been very like AL West and Astros focused just because football's back. So,
Yeah,
um, also
I don't
it's
think
just
that
the Astros
there's
are really scary right now. Like we are not in a good spot. I'm just trying to escape, trying to just get to the postseason ASAP. I
yeah.
mean,
Holy shit!
We have a 1 game lead right now on the Guardians.
Damn.
I know it's not good. Have to beat Seattle tonight for the division title potential and for the sake of the wild card. So,
I do
uh,
need Fromber to get shelled tonight, unfortunately. So I will be rooting for the opposite.
oh, okay. I have one funny side note on that.
Yeah.
One of the Astros, I follow like Texans pages, Astros pages, whatever. This Astros page was like, all right, everyone, we're going to give a standing ovation for Fromber tonight, so he locks in. I'm like, that's how the whole thing's cooked. Vibes, Astros vibes are negative right now. Way down. We're trying
Yeah,
to
no,
make
he's gone. I will say that the standing ovation for Mookie, I was actually at that game. And it's honestly worked. His splits then, from before to after, have been night and day, and he's been getting hot. That's why I'm a little bit more on the Dodgers train because it seems like they're starting to figure things out pretty well. So
yeah.
I'm looking forward to the postseason because I think there's going to be a lot of fun matchups, and I think there's going to be teams doing stuff that you don't necessarily expect them to.
Yeah. And for the record, I'll definitely, as soon as postseason's back, I'll be, locked in on baseball again. It's just, football, we take a slight break and then we come back. Um, but again, I'm still watching the boys. It's just I'm not following every team like I was.
Yeah.
Kind of hard with college football too. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm feeling good about this episode. I'm trying to think if we missed anything on NFL, but I mean, oh, okay. Let's hit on one more thing with NFL real quick, because I'm kind of curious on your take. Um, we have Ravens Lions Monday.
I think the
Well,
Ravens are going to decimate them.
it's kind of the way I feel too. I think they like, was it last year or 2 years ago that it was like 40 points? Like it was
I want to
ugly.
say 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think that's right.
The thing that's weird is that I mean this is kind of like a victory lap take. When the draft happened with Trayvon Walker and Hutchinson, I said I'd rather have Walker than Hutchinson, and I know that Hutchinson broke his leg like in half last year, but like
Yeah.
I don't think he's looked as good this year. I mean, I thought he was going to come back and be better. It takes some time to get up to playing speed, but as of now, that defense has looked terrible. Tyrion Arnold is a bust. They got to ship that dude to Guangdong.
They still
He's
have
been
Brian
terrible.
Branch, so
I mean, they have Branch, they have Joseph. I mean, I still think Joseph is like an interceptions merchant. Like, obviously, you're creating turnovers for your team, but it's not because of plays he's making. I think the team is creating things for him, and he's being an opportunist, which you need opportunists on your defense.
yeah, you need that. Yeah.
But that that secondary Swiss cheese, I don't know. I don't know, mate.
I don't know who on the Lions defense is going to be able to like hang with Lamar. And for the record, like I don't think there's many defenses that can, but like there are a couple. There are a couple that can kind of. I mean, the Browns literally did it. Like that's why I'm kind of high on them this weekend because like they really kept him and Derrick Henry in check. Like the Browns, I forget who it was because I don't think it was a big name defender. And if he is, like, apologies, I got to get better ball knowledge. But some Browns like safety or something was like, yeah, it's not hard to tackle Derrick
Oh,
Henry,
Delpit?
and everyone was freaking out. And then like they come out and Derrick Henry has like 5 yards or something in the game.
I think that was Delpit,
Yeah, I think that's right.
number 9.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. That's
Yeah,
who it was.
that was low key. I mean, obviously they got skunked. Like it was like a 31-point differential, but
I mean, the Browns
shit,
literally outgained the Ravens in that game. That's a crazy stat.
isn't that 2 weeks in a row now that they've outgained their opponent
Yeah.
and lost?
But well, I mean, this one was obviously ugly. The Bengals one wasn't, like
That
they
was
literally.
bad.
What is that? The Browns lost by 24 and outgained the Ravens. That don't even make sense.
Brown's gonna brown, yeah.
But yeah, I think that'll do it for episode 18. Appreciate y'all listening if you made it to the end. I think we're gonna. You think we should put up like our? Should we do like spread picks and get those up like on the IG or something for
Yeah, I'd be
for
down.
ball? Be down for that. But yeah, that'll do it. Appreciate y'all for listening. As always, everything's down below. We got the socials that Hayden and I got to lock in with.
Oh my god, dude.
And he's losing his fantasy. All right, we're out, y'all. Peace.
Peace.